So, let's get started.
Quiet storm. Can you remember the moment your childhood quietly ended? It starts quietly. No one notices at first. You're 7 years old, staring into the eyes of a parent who is falling apart. Maybe it's addiction. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's just the hollow silence of someone too broken to show up. And without words, something ancient clicks in your small mind. If I don't hold everything together, no one will. This is how a child disappears. Not physically, but psychologically. Fading soul. Ever wondered why being mature as a child feels like grief? They smile more. They cry less. They learn to read the room before they speak. They become the emotional thermostat of the household. Small adults long before their minds are ready. And the world praises them for it. You're so mature. You're so responsible. You're so strong. But no one ever stops to ask, at what cost? Hidden grief. What if your strength is built on wounds you never noticed? This is the invisible grief of those who grew up too fast. Because the effects don't vanish with age, they shape you. They follow you into relationships, careers, and your sense of worth. And if you don't understand what happened, you'll spend your adult life repeating the survival patterns that once saved you, but are now slowly killing you. Stolen childhood. Did you grow up parenting the people who were meant to protect you? The reversal of roles. When children are forced to emotionally support adults instead of being supported, psychologists call this parentification. It's when a child becomes the caregiver, the peacekeeper, the therapist, the protector. This isn't just unhealthy, it rewires the brain. Because when a child is consistently put in charge of emotional regulation, either their own or others, it creates hypervigilance. You're always scanning for danger. You walk on eggshells. You learn that love is a transaction. If I give peace, maybe they'll give me safety. Vanished self. What happens when the child inside you stops staying quiet? You learn that your needs are dangerous and theirs are urgent. So you disappear, not physically, but emotionally. In your place grows a version of you that performs well. You become the good child, the quiet achiever, the therapist friend, the one who never asks for anything. And you wear that identity so convincingly that even you forget it's a mask. But deep down, something hurts. Something aches. Because the inner child you buried didn't die. They're still in there, screaming silently. Why didn't anyone protect me? Silent wounds. Have you ever mistaken exhaustion for feeling safe? As you grow older, the symptoms evolve. You might become hyper-independent, refusing help, pushing people away, never feeling safe in love. You might feel numb during happy moments because joy feels unfamiliar, unearned, even dangerous. You might struggle to rest because productivity is the only way you've ever felt worthy. And worst of all, you might not even realize you're still stuck in survival mode, because when dysfunction is normalized early, your nervous system accepts chaos as baseline. Stillness feels wrong. Peace feels suspicious. Love feels like a debt you'll have to repay. Self-abandonment. Why do we abandon ourselves? Just to stay loved? You may ask, why would any child willingly take on that role? Because children will do anything for attachment, even abandon themselves. It's not weakness, it's intelligence. It's instinct. In the absence of safety, the child sacrifices authenticity for belonging. But what saved you then imprisons you now. Perfect mask. What if the child inside you never stopped begging to be seen? Many of us are walking around as high-functioning adults with deeply neglected inner children pulling the strings. We overachieve to earn love. We stay silent to avoid abandonment. We take care of everyone, but secretly wish someone would just ask if we're okay. That fantasy, that someone will finally see you're not as strong as you pretend. That's the unmet need of the child who never got to be a child. Survivor's eyes. Can you really heal if you keep denying what broke you? The first step, witnessing. The first step to healing isn't fixing. It's witnessing. Until you validate what happened, you'll keep gaslighting yourself with thoughts like, "It wasn't that bad. Other people had it worse. I turned out fine." But fine is a mask too, and deep down, you know it. Broken groan. Have you ever wondered why love feels like danger to you? So what happens to that child when they grow up? They become adults who never feel safe even in calm rooms, lovers who can't trust softness, givers who can't receive. They apologize for crying, flinch at compliments, and confuse exhaustion with success. This is the cost of growing up too fast. Lost rescue. When was the last time you gave yourself permission to rest? If your childhood trained you to be strong at the expense of being soft, quiet instead of honest, to fix others while ignoring your own fractures, then you inherit a life where you're always holding your breath, waiting for permission to finally fall apart. But here's the truth. No one's coming to rescue the child you buried. You are the one who must go back and hold their hand. You are the one who must say what no one else ever said. You didn't deserve that. You were just a child. You get to rest now. Shadow work. Can you sit with the pain you once buried just to survive? This is the beginning of shadow work. Not fixing or bypassing pain with fake positivity, but turning toward the abandoned parts of yourself and saying, "I see you now. I hear you now. And I'm not leaving." It's brutal because it asks you to feel the grief you never had time to feel. To sit with the rage, the sorrow, the unmet needs. To mourn the innocence you lost while protecting people who should have protected you. But that grief isn't weakness. It's proof you're healing. Because what was once frozen is finally thawing. Survival trap. Are you helping everyone because you care or because you're scared? In adulthood, the pattern continues, quietly, invisibly. You might become the therapist friend. You might be praised for independence while secretly fearing you're a burden. You might overfunction in relationships, fixing and managing until you're empty. You might struggle with boundaries because saying no still feels like betrayal. But these aren't your personality traits. They're coping strategies. Learned, conditioned, and thankfully, unlearnable. Inner echo. What if the voice you've been ignoring all along is your own? Ask your inner child, what did I need back then that I never got? You may hear, I needed someone to tell me it wasn't my fault. I needed someone to ask how I was doing. I needed to play, rest, and laugh without fear. And slowly, you begin to give those things to yourself, not to fix your past, but to stop reliving it. Becoming whole. How many times have you mistaken pain for your personality? This is how you stop seeking parents in your partners. How you stop mistaking anxiety for intuition. How you stop running from the child you were and start becoming the self you were meant to be. Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. But shadow work demands that we face it, all of it, because healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Soft choice. Can you choose peace now, after a lifetime of survival? If you grew up too fast, know this: your maturity was never the problem. The problem was that you had no choice. But now, you do. You can choose softness. You can choose to rest. You can choose to stop managing everyone else's emotions and start honoring your own. Homecoming soul. You never had a childhood. But what if you could still heal it? It won't happen overnight. There will be days you feel like a child again. Good. That's the point. Let that child come home. Let them cry. Let them play. Let them finally be seen. Because you're not broken. You're becoming whole. And maybe, for the first time, you're finally growing up the right way. Not through pressure, not through fear, but through truth. You never had a childhood, but you still have a future. And this time, you get to write it. At the end of this video, I just want to say one thing. Don't let the bitterness of society or the weight of daily life sit too heavy on your heart and mind. Life is short. Never let the child within you die. The one whose innocence still brings you joy when you think of it. Sometimes just imagine yourself as that child again, carefree, light, and lost in the simple happiness of being alive.
If you enjoyed this, like, share, and subscribe for the next one.